It's time for the Hockey Writers Grindline, a weekly show covering everything Detroit Red Wings. Brought to you by our own iconic top line of Wings writers. Sit back and enjoy the grind.
Welcome to the Hockey Writers Grindline. I am your host, Pat Brown, and joining me as always are my line mates Devin Little and Kyle Knopp. And boy, are we thrilled to have you join us for yet another grind. Before we begin, just a reminder, this week's show being brought to you by Morning Skate, a daily newsletter delivered to your inbox Monday through Friday, and it is jam-packed with the best hockey stuff on the planet. It's a daily dose of the latest NHL news, rumors, history, funnies, quizzes, etc., and just a little hockey fun and information brought to you every weekday of the week from the Hockey Writers. You'll see a link in the show description down below, so click, sign up, and let the good times roll. Let them come running in. Somebody on this show, Kyle Knopp, may be the editor of said newsletter, and it is totally worth your while. So sign up, look at the link below. You won't regret it. Now, let's get down to business here, gentlemen. Good to see you both, because we're going to start off with, as we all say, and Kyle, I love how you let off with this exact phrase, an oldie but a goodie. One good, one bad. By the way, Kyle, thanks for holding down the fort last week. I thought you did a great job hosting.
You left me some really big shoes to fill. We're glad to have you back, but we had a fun show. I thought we did a good job in your honor. So happy to have you back, though, and looking forward to this week's episode.
It was a great show, and I know my feet are size 12 and a half, so they are literally a little bit large. But
yeah, I'm just a 12. I'm just a 12, so half the size bigger.
I got you.
Had to wear those thick wool socks, you know.
I like it. All right, and I'm back, and we're already off the rails. So let's start off with an oldie but a goodie. One good, one bad from the week that was. I'm going to rattle mine off super quick and move on, because to be honest, the week that was for me was rather short, as I've kind of been on the road. But I am going to say my one good, really enjoyed Lucas Raymond's overtime winner against the Carolina Hurricanes. That was fun. Loved the celly at the end. Beat a great team in the Carolina Hurricanes, and all in all, just great resolve by the team in the third period and overtime to pull that one out. My one bad is allowing both a touchdown and a field goal to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You mean the Argonauts?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I feel like if I saw that box score, I'd believe the Argonauts would beat the Lions too. So it was believable either way. But yeah, my one bad is the 10 goals allowed. You got to tip your cap to the effort that the Red Wings put forth in that one to even get back into it. Yeah. But to allow 10 goals in a game is just that's NHL 22 caliber right there. So there's my one good, one bad for the week that was. Devin, I see you next on the screen, so I'm going to come right to you. Give me your good and your bad from the week that was.
Well, it's been a minute since I've been able to do this, so plug your ears, gentlemen.
I know it's coming.
Yeah, that overtime winner.
No joke. Your noise canceling microphone canceled out your choo-choo. We need a redo on that.
I love it.
No, it's not doing it.
Well,
how are we going to get by?
You can plug in the choo-choo.
Matt,
you know how
Matt, can we get a sound?
Yeah, an actual train horn would be great. Now,
yeah.
All right, Devin, continue on.
Choo-choo. Anyways,
we heard that.
Lucas Raymond. Oh, I'm thrown off my groove now. He had the overtime winner. And it was, like you said, Pat, I don't really need to elaborate any more than that. It was great. Love to see Raymond making a difference for this team, especially after that wall he kind of hit in December and January. Looks like he's kind of turned the corner. And then my bad, it's again from the Toronto game, and it's kind of looking overall, but it's just almost the heartbreak of seeing them actually claw back and make a game of it in the third period. Yeah. And it's 7-6, 8.
It was wild. They had it to within one. It was crazy.
and then it just slips away, and neither Nedeljkovic or Grice could make a freaking save. Like
No.
it was just a mess, and it was crazy that they even fought back to make it a game. So then for it to end up with a 10 spot, it was like, if the goalies could have just made one or two actual saves. But yeah, that was my one good, one bad.
Yeah, I think that was 7-2 heading into the third, if I'm not mistaken. And within the first 5 minutes, they made it a 1-goal game. Again, you tip the cap, but you don't give up 10 goals, you win that game, obviously. So, another side note, I think we all have the same microphone, and the noise canceling is impressive on these microphones. I must say,
if you're looking for a noise canceling microphone, this is the one. Folks.
I mean, you have no idea the screaming kids and barking dogs that happen while we're recording. You never hear it, so it's good stuff. All right. Kyle, over to you. One good, one bad from the week that was.
Well, I'm glad you guys both brought up that 10-7 game. I didn't want to quite pile on. The goaltending was atrocious that game. But I think I want to focus my good and bad on one player this week, mostly on the good side, Calder Trophy. He's been playing great the last couple games. And he's been not only just getting good time on the third and fourth line and eating solid minutes and challenging the other team. He's producing. He's scored goals in the last 2 games. He's been eating up minutes on the penalty kill and doing a great job blocking shots. But the bad to that is he just took a Hedman one-time or slap shot. It wasn't a one-timer off the knee in the game today. And it looks like it's going to be quite a stinger. Actually, it might've been off the foot, which would be worse because that could mean broken bones. But it looks like it's going to be kind of a stinger. And he's been kind of a key piece on that bottom 6. And to see him go out could kind of hurt over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I think that's really good call outs. We certainly hope just a bad bruise, as Herb Brooks would say. Oh, I know. You got a bad bruise. So hopefully it's just a bruise and he'll be on the mend relatively quickly, but you're absolutely right. And good perspective, good stuff. So, all right, let's switch gears and talk about what the people are talking about here, which is none other than a hot topic all season long, and it's not cooling down. Filip Zadina. Very polarizing player on the Red Wings, has played well as of late, was on the top line, which some look as potentially a showcase. Zadina had an opportunity in February, 2 or 3 week period to play on the top line as a showcase to potentially interested teams. Now, I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I've read that in more than one spot, and there might be something to it. So, keep in mind, he's got 7 goals and 10 assists in 52 games this season. And rather than talk about, who's inquiring or anything else, got a simple question for you. What would be a good fit team for Zadina? So where would he potentially go and fit in really well? And again, I'll lament my own beer league GM skills, but really quick, I got to take the super low hanging fruit, which is Ken Holland over in Edmonton. You just feel like he can't resist, right? You feel like maybe he won't even be able to resist. Now, the problem is, what are they going to give up? Because they actually don't have a whole lot to give up if you're looking at immediate draft pick returns. They don't even have a third or a fourth rounder and only one of the first and second round. So what are they going to give up? So maybe you end up shipping Zadina plus a pick, say third or fourth round, to get a higher draft pick in return. But I don't know. But anyways, Edmonton to me is one of them. Selfishly, I would say potentially in Arizona, he might be a decent fit. He's still going to be a restricted free agent. So there are rights to be had there. But does he fit in with the scheme of the Coyotes rebuild? I'm not totally sure that I bought into that. And then I'll throw out one other team and move on real quick. I think Boston might be another place he would be okay at and be a potential decent fit. So those are my 3. Kyle, we are going to come over to you, and we've got the same question. Where do you think Filip Zadina would fit in well if he's traded?
When you presented this question to us in the chat this week, I kind of took it as, where would I see Zadina moving to a good fit as a team that's looking to build toward the playoff run this season.
Sure,
as
absolutely.
It's going to be done in the next couple of weeks. We're going at it from that angle. So just putting that out there first. So I actually have 4 teams that kind of fit that mold with that thought, 2 from the East Coast, 2 from the Western Conference. And so my 2 in the Eastern Conference are both teams that are sitting in the playoff position right now, but could use a good middle to bottom 6 winger with some scoring power and add that extra touch going into the playoffs. And the 2 teams that I kind of had in mind were the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. I think they're 2 teams that could really see some added advantage of having Zadina on their third line and really add some depth to their left wing and add that third line firepower that you really need in the playoffs to have that scoring touch along with your grinders and muckers throughout, the playoffs. The other 2 teams in the Western Conference I had are both in the playoff hunt. And that would be the Los Angeles Kings and the Los Angeles Kings and the Anaheim Ducks now. But so those were the 2 teams I kind of saw on the West Coast. 2 teams that are younger, they have some skill forwards up in their top 6, but they could use another scoring winger in Zadina down in their bottom 6, middle 6 pairings, and really could give them the extra push as they try and finish out the season in a playoff hunt.
Quack, quack. Quack.
They will always be the Mighty Ducks reference. Like no matter what, and I'll get on it. Anytime to tangent, and if I have to throw in Anaheim, it's always the Mighty Ducks. It won't always be.
they have the little ball of hate as their GM now, so they're definitely mighty now.
and that's the other thing is Verbeek knows Zadina, and he kind of knows what's expected. So I think that could really be something that could be actually being talked about right now.
Good stuff. Devin, you bring us home on this topic. Where might Zadina be a good fit if he's traded?
This is where I'm going to deviate from Kyle. I don't think a contender is going to go out and get Filip Zadina. I think contenders typically go out and get more proven products at the trade deadline. And so I think even as the question is asked, what's a good fit for Filip Zadina? I think Filip Zadina needs to go somewhere that will give him time, that has patience. The whole thing with the Red Wings moving on from him is that there's, that team doesn't want to be patient. They want to, move on to the next guy. So I think he needs to go to a place that's willing to be patient with him. And that to me is either a team that is rebuilding, like say the Arizona Coyotes, fit, there you go. You called it, Pat.
I knew where you were going with that.
And it's literally just because the rebuilding scorched earth. He could, he's still 22. Give it time, he could be a piece for them. 100%. Sure. And then the other team, Kyle, you did actually name this one too, and that's the LA Kings. They're a team that isn't going to win the Stanley Cup this year. I'm pretty confident about that. But they are up and coming. They're probably I feel pretty good about them making the playoffs this year. And he's a player that can grow with that team. And even more so, and I'm going to actually write about this in the future, so stay tuned for that. I think the Kings and the Red Wings actually line up pretty good for a trade because the Kings are really, in the same way that the Red Wings are rich on the blue line in the prospect pool, the Kings are rich down the middle. And the Red Wings need a good center prospect. So if you can get some kind of cool deal going where Zadina goes to LA and a center prospect, say Alex Turcotte or something like that, comes back to Detroit, I think that's the making of a really good deal that could help both teams.
Yeah, super good perspective. And I think either way, if Zadina is going to be dealt, basically the time is now, given his status as a pending restricted free agent. You've got a little bit more to dangle out there because of rights. So it'll be interesting to see, but all really good stuff. We'll see if anything happens prior to March 21st, but I think super good perspective all the way around. So let's move ahead to everybody's favorite saying lately. Everybody loves Raymond. And boy, I mean, I alluded to it with my one good. He's been beyond sensational this season, leading all rookies still in scoring with 43 points. I mean, the rookies have made up a ton of ground. You've got Michael Bunting 1 point behind him. You've got Trevor Zegras 1 point behind him. And as of tonight, Mo Seider tied with Zegras at 41 points because Seider recorded an assist earlier in the game against Tampa Bay. We are recording on Friday, by the way. So everybody loves Raymond. Simple question for you guys. What makes him so effective as a rookie? And even I was just catching the first couple of periods here against Tampa Bay, and you could see it on the power play. For as young as he is and as inexperienced as he is in the NHL still, boy, does he ever have command of the puck. Mm-hmm. And he can make those plays where he can slice in between defenders. He can slice in between players. And even if there's nothing there, circle around, cut it back, drop it off. He creates so many options that even when teams want to shut him down, and some teams have found some success in doing that, although he seems to be heating up again, it's his speed, it's his vision, and it's his hockey IQ that I've just seen seems to, it's just well beyond his years with where he's at. So, Devin, let's come to you next. What makes Lucas Raymond so special?
He's a train, that's why. But no, yes, you know. But no, in all seriousness, the reason why Lucas Raymond has been so effective in his rookie season, at least in my opinion, is that there's more than just one dimension to his game. A lot of players sometimes come in and they have, we were just talking about him. Filip Zadina came into the league, and what was he known for? He was known for shooting, and that was pretty much it. So if you took away his shot, he wasn't going to do much else. Last season, we praised Zadina because he added that element of playmaking to his game. But the point is that he had to add that to his repertoire. Raymond already has that. Raymond, if he, even when he was going through that lull in December, January, where he wasn't scoring, he only scored 2 goals in those 2 months. But he still was getting assists. He's still setting up plays. He's finding other ways to be dangerous. So, if he's not finding shooting lanes, he's finding passing lanes. And if he's not finding passing lanes, he's putting the puck in the back of the net. So you can't, it's not as simple as take away the shooting lanes. He's got multiple layers to his game. He knows he's already sound defensively. He's about as complete of a player as you could hope for as a 19-year-old. He obviously still has a ways to go until he hits his peak, but he's just well-rounded. There's more than one way that he can burn you.
Yep. Makes sense. All really good arguments. Kyle, over to you. Your thoughts. What makes Lucas Raymond so special? Why do we all love him so much?
Both of you alluded to all of his skill sets, his ice vision, his hockey IQ, the way he has the ability to use his edges, protect the puck. He uses his body to shield the defender from the puck when he's in possession of it in the zone and working it around. But I think it really comes down to A, his confidence, and B, him being unselfish with that puck. He plays a lot like a Braden Point, where he's always on the move and always trying to get to soft areas of the ice, open areas, and is always moving with and without the puck. And when he gets the puck, if there's not a good shot, if there's not a good pass, he knows to cycle back and keep it within himself and then find those seams. And he trusts his teammates to find their open ice. And then he knows that he can get the puck to them. And I think the combination of that unselfishness and then that confidence that he's going to make the play and have that puck there for them, if they can be there, and they will be there, that the play is going to happen, or at least the opportunity for a goal will be there. And so I think that combination, as you mentioned, Devin, him being 19, has just completed and made him that all-around player, because he has the skill set. He knows how to use it, but now he knows that he can use it at the highest level, and that with his teammates being at the same level he is, they will be there for him to make those plays as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Want to remind you at home, do not forget to sign up for the Hockey Writers Morning Skate at morningskate.io so you don't miss the best daily hockey newsletter on the planet, delivered every weekday at 8 a.m. sharp. Be the first to know what's happening in the world of hockey, and it'll be Kyle who tells you. So, bonus. Good stuff. And to whoever commented last week or 2 weeks ago that the Morning Skate ads were distracting, I'm sorry, but we got to pay bills somehow. So cut us a little slack. We're talking about 15 seconds of commercials, not 2 minutes. So come on.
That's my baby you're talking about.
Seriously. So, but thanks for taking the time to comment. We do appreciate it. All right. Time for the back nine, gentlemen. And we've got a little bit of fun planned. So Let's start looking ahead. We know the Wings aren't mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and anything can happen. They could get hot, and boy, would it be fun. But to be realistic, probably not going to make the playoffs. And the Red Wings' two alternate captains, or official alternate captains, Danny DeKeyser and Mark Stahl, likely on their way out. Cannot envision too many scenarios where they're necessarily back. You can fight me on that. That's cool. But there's plenty of prospects and some room for some free agency moves if need be. So in any case, they are the current alternate captains. Let's say they're not next year. Maybe they don't come back, whatever it is. Who is? So I'll go first. I think the new Red Wings alternates captains, and I'll be interested to hear how everybody feels about this first choice here, but Mo Seider. I don't see any realm where he's not given an A, and I'd be surprised if he's off of either the two of your lists as well. In my opinion, Mo Seider, no offense, Mr. Larkin, Mo Seider is captain type material. Maybe that materializes in the future, maybe not. Certainly wouldn't be next year, and deservedly so. Larkin is also captain material, but to me it's a no-brainer. You can see Seider in his young age already a clear leader on this team. More on that in a little bit as well. My second one, I feel like might kind of be a wild card. I'm excited to see your guys' reaction, but I'm giving that A to Robbie Fabry is what I'm doing.
Wow.
Okay.
Fabry has been through this rebuild. He signed an extension and will be a Red Wing through the 2025-26 season. So he's here for a good period of time. He's been loyal. He's worked hard. He's earned everything he's gotten. And to me, he has everything you would want to see in an alternate captain. And I debated some other players in my mind, but I kept coming back to Fabry. The extension that he earned means he's going to be in Detroit long term. And the way he has played and presented himself and represented the winged wheel to me is deserved. So didn't think you guys would maybe see that one coming, but I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Kyle, coming to you first. Who gets the A's next year?
I love your Fabry take. I mean, that's awesome. I could totally see that, but to just not beat around the bush and agree with your first take. Yes, Mo Seider is the next captain of the Detroit Red Wings.
Oh, wait, the next captain. Awesome.
He will be the next captain of the Detroit Red Wings, unless something happens where
I like
Colorado is like, here, do you want Cale McCarr and like a bunch of draft picks for Mo Seider? Like, it's not going to happen, but
I think you just inadvertently started a fight in the comments section. So well done, man.
Yeah, you did.
Did you just suggest Mo Seider to the Avalanche? Is that what just happened?
Of all teams.
You had 31 other teams to pick.
I mean, maybe I just want to make sure we got 1,000 views again this week.
I guess you had 30 other teams to pick, to be fair, but still.
True.
Anyway, go on.
Wow.
But no, what I
found over 50 goal scorer Adam Ernie with him.
It's a package deal.
All right.
What I meant by that is Mo Seider's here to stay. All right, Mo Seider is going to be.
You can't backtrack now.
Mo Seider is Nicholas Lindstrom 2.0, and he is here to stay, and he's going to be the Red Wings' next captain. That is what I am saying in a roundabout way. But
I love it.
So I'm just going to leave that. I won't even go any deeper into that one.
Who's your other A?
My other A, and just to make this short, it's going to whoever comes back between Leddy, Stahl, and Gagne, because I see him come at least one of the three coming back on at least a short 1-year term, if not maybe a 2-year for one of them. But yeah, I think one of those three are going to get the A for at least another season, and then Seider, and then maybe after that, when they're gone and more of the young guys are up, it will go to a Fabry.
Good stuff. And out of your three, I'm hoping Leddy's the one to come back there. But
agreed.
But that's a conversation for another time.
Start
Devin.
that war.
It's gonna happen. I can't wait till I log in at like 4:00 tomorrow and see 70.
I'm turning off my notifications for YouTube this week.
I love it. And we love
our
it.
show was canceled.
Yeah, we do.
Please don't say
Yeah,
that.
Crazy
yeah,
grind
don't,
line
yeah,
show.
don't put that. Don't put that jinx on us, Ricky Bobby.
All right. I appreciated the other comment too that said Pat's gonna flip when he sees the show is more than 30 minutes, and we are trending in that direction right now. So let's go. Let me frame it up again here. Devin, over to you. Your thoughts on who will be alternate captains for the Red Wings next season?
So the big caveat here is, it depends on who stays, who goes. And I do like Kyle's comment about one of those veteran guys getting one.
Sure.
I do think that, with Yzerman and Blashill in charge, depending on if Blashill's still in charge, I think they still see value in having a veteran guy with a letter while this team is still very young and still developing. So I think, a veteran guy. I'm not going to name a name because it could be, you name three, there could be like two more that could fit that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And then the other one, and this is where I'm going to dissent from you two. I'm not saying Seider yet because Larkin took forever to get the C, even though he was ready for it. So I think that Seider can wait a couple years. I'm going to give it to Tyler Bertuzzi. And the reason why is because Jeff Blashill, Dylan Larkin, anybody who talks about what Bertuzzi is in that locker room, he's one of the most important guys. And when we talked about trading him, a week or two ago, I mentioned that one of the reasons why you maybe don't do that is because it, upsets the locker room. He's a big piece. I do think that he's one of those leaders without a letter on this team right now. And I think that, I don't know. I just think that he's the type of guy that wears letters on other teams. Like I think of like Dustin Brown in LA and Bo Horvat, I just think he fits it. And the thing is he, maybe he does get traded in the future. He's not going to be an A for 10 years, but I think that going into next season, if he is with the Red Wings, I think he just kind of fits.
I think there's a lot of room for discussion there.
I agree.
I considered Bertuzzi strongly, and
I did too.
I'm not going to go into anything one way or the other. But I think it's a great pick. I really considered Bertuzzi strong.
However, did Devin just give Bertuzzi a 10-year shelf life? Because the way he plays, that would be quite impressive.
Yeah. No, there's no way.
Unless he gets traded to Colorado, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be part of that deal.
Good stuff. Hey, we want to hear about it in the comments because this is not an easy topic, and there's a lot that could be said about this. So, who do you at home think the next alternate captain?
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Let's hear it. Let's move on to additional hot topics here because as if one of the league's worst secrets, we are heading right to a Calder collision. It is jam-packed right there at the top. I already mentioned it before between Lucas Raymond, Michael Bunting, Trevor Zegras, and Mo Seider. Kind of the top four. I mean, you see other people kind of enter the fray, like, Boldy. Get out of here with that. Just get out of here with that. I don't want to hear it. So those are really the four that we're talking about here.
How you really feel?
Well, I mean, come on. I get he's playing well, but there are a lot of people who play well but aren't going to win the Calder, and he is definitely one of them. So anyways, who is going to win the Calder? Who do you have at this point? We've talked about it a lot. It continues to be relevant. I'm going to continue with my current pick that I've pretty much had since the beginning of the season, which again, a future alternate of the team, Mo Seider. I don't know how you can argue with what Seider's been doing. He's 41. He may be a +1 now. When I was looking stuff up earlier, he was 0, even and plus minus, which while I don't like it, it does tell a story. And the story that it tells is he is recording as many points and he is not on the ice. He's at least on the ice for as many goals as he's not. Right. And on this team, that's impressive. Because he could very easily be in the minuses, not be putting up assists nearly every game. He's on an 8-game point streak right now. He's doing everything right at such a young age, and he's playing a position that, while it lends itself to assists, is not a high-scoring position, and he's there at the top. And he's not playing with a whole lot of talent on the blue line. So you look at some of these other finalists, there are cases to be made for all of them. You look at Bunting, and I love the kid. I was sad to see the Coyotes let him go, to be honest. But look at who he's surrounded by, and come on. So still, I think it's impressive. My pick sticks with Mo Seider. I would be surprised if that changes in my own mind at all as things go forward, but that's about where I would fall right now. Devin, let's come to you. Who do you think is going to win the Calder at this point in time?
If Michael Bunting wins the Calder Trophy this year, I'm going to solve time travel, go back in time to 2010, and give Jimmy Howard the Calder Trophy. Because the reason why he didn't win it is because he was 26 and he played for a stacked team. So if Bunting wins it, I'm like I said, do some crazy stuff. As for who is going to win it,
wow,
out of Avengers, yeah. As for who is going to win it, I at this point, unless craziness happens and maybe this player falls apart down the stretch, I don't see how it's not Moritz Seider. Like I love Lucas Raymond. We all know this at this point.
Yeah.
It's Seider. It's I can't even like argue for anybody else. Seider is clearly the best rookie in my opinion. He's transformed the Red Wings defense by himself.
Yep.
And that alone speaks volumes as a 20-year-old. So it's got to be Seider.
That's poetry. What you said, and I'm not even being funny, like he's transformed the team by himself. The defense on this team is better than it was last year, exponentially better than it was last year because of him. And completely agree. Kyle, your thoughts. Will you dissent from the group? Who you got in the Calder race?
It must be fall because it is Seider season.
Yeah.
There's no argument. I mean, you both put it eloquently. Like Seider plays one of the hardest positions against the top lines in one of the hardest divisions in the NHL, and he constantly shuts them down with one of the worst defensive partners in the NHL. And I mean, and you can like go on Twitter, look at Jay Fresh's cards or Jay Fresh Hockey's cards. He has cards that he puts up for players WAR, and which is wins above replacement and other statistics, advanced stats. And their cards are night and day. I mean, you're talking like a 90 overall in NHL 22 versus like a 56. I mean, that's just how bad it's been this season. And it's been one of those just so much fun to watch. He's 20 years old. He's come over. He's been so poised. Everyone was expecting him to just be this huge physical presence. And while he hasn't been like the booming hit, Cronwall type player that everyone thought he might be, he still is that. He's evolved his game to play it at the NHL style. He doesn't have to play that huge type of open ice hit, but he can control that game more. But he still plays physical. He's still a big body. He's still very strong, and he's still a boy. He's still maturing. He's going to only get stronger. He's only going to fill in more and just become even more of a monster and a point producer from the back end. And it's going to be so much fun to watch. I mean, he's going to be, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be one of those guys that's just going to be an absolute beast at the NHL level.
You said I'll go right back to you, Devin, in just 1 minute. Kyle, you hit the nail on the head with your last comment too. As long as he stays healthy, and that's why I'm okay not seeing those Cronwall type hits. He's not afraid to lay it out there. He's not afraid to do it. We've seen him do it. We've seen him just stand players up that come at him. But I don't want to see him just hitting for the sake of hitting, because health is number one. Devin, you got the last word.
One of the biggest arguments I see for Trevor Zegras winning it is marketability. He does the crazy puck stuff. You can market the hell out of Moritz Seider. Yep. Not only does he play the game like a professional at 20 years old, and he does it with like finesse too. He can do the silky smooth moves. He won a game against Buffalo by doing a nice little move. But he also has the most infectious personality. He is a joyful human being. Like the Mojo Show.
The Mojo Show. I was just to say, go watch the Mojo Show, or at least clips on YouTube or
look that
Twitter.
up after you watch our show. After our show, look that up. You want
Well, if you've gotten to this
marketability-
point in the show, thanks. You can go check it out.
Yes,
That's
thank
cool.
you very much. Yeah, no, marketability. Cider is just as marketable as Trevor Zegers, in my opinion.
Oh, I completely agree. So everybody's going to laugh, but we're already way over time. We got one more thing to discuss. So I'm going to move us on to the very last topic, and we'll get quick elevator pitch thoughts for this last topic, which is what prospects currently in the system that's yet to play in the NHL, or at least regular in the NHL. Who do you think is going to have the biggest impact with the Red Wings? And I'm going to drop my little choo-choo and say the secondary scoring that Jonathan Berggren can provide to me. And I went through all the defensive in my mind. I get the arguments for Wallander and Edvinsson and Johansson and everything in between. Interested to hear what you guys are going to say. But I think Berggren, if he can continue his success that he has found the last year and a half and continue to move his feet, drive to the net and create those chances, I think he's going to provide secondary scoring that Red Wings fans have not seen since the late 2000s, and it's exciting. So Berggren, to me, is the player who will have the biggest impact on the Red Wings out of any of the prospects left in the system. Devin, we're going to come to you next. Who do you think will have the biggest impact on the Red Wings once they make their NHL debut?
Your choo-choo worked, but mine didn't. Anyways, no, I thought long and hard about Sebastian Cossa for this.
Yeah,
Because goalie of the future, if he becomes that,
oh yeah,
that's the most important position in hockey. So I think that he could very much be that answer. But given that he's kind of I don't want to say plateaued, but stagnated this season, I'm gonna go with Edvinsson for the sole reason of you either. In the future, you've either got a top defensive pairing of Edvinsson and Cider, which is crazy, or you've got two defensive pairs and you've got one with Edvinsson on it and the other with Cider on it.
Yep.
Either way, you've got two defensive monsters going into the future, and that is a lot to be excited about, to the point where you don't even need to have like a top tier goalie in the crease, because your defense is going to make life really easy for them.
Yep. I almost went with Edvinsson, but come on, Berggren was like my second article at the Hockey Writers. So
gotta stay on brand.
Gotta stay on brand now. Kyle, 30 seconds or less. Who you got making an impact on the Red Wings organization when they make their debut?
Jonathan Berggren. And I'm going with the fact that he is going to be a lot like a Lucas Raymond coming in and providing a lot of the same type of skill set that Raymond has, but he's going to offer a little bit of a different edge than Raymond, which will be a great offset for that second line punch coming back. So I think that's going to be a really good 1-2 punch. And that's something that Detroit really needs next season. I think Edvinson's definitely going to push for that secondary tier as that, number 2 in the Calder race for the Red Wings again. And then I think Kossa's there in 2 years, maybe not next year. But I really think, we're going to be good up front and in the back end. So I think it's just a fun time to be a Red Wings fan.
It sure is. It sure is. And you know what else it's a fun time for? Signing up for the Morning Skate newsletter. In case we haven't convinced you with our first 2 plugs, sign up for Morning Skate. You will get some of Wes McCauley's most legendary moments as an NHL referee. 5 minutes for fighting at this point. That's the kind of content that'll put a smile on your face while you got a cup of coffee in your hand every morning of the week. The weekdays, I should say. Join the fun at morningskate.io. That is our show. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. We look forward to this every single week and can't wait to see you next time. Cheers.